ways of wisdom. Sorry, I will change it. I haven't changed it. Chapter 5. Ways of wisdom in Sirach. Yeah. We are reading fourth book of the wisdom literature, that is book of Sirach. Ways of wisdom in book of Sirach. The capturing word is fear of the Lord is fullness of wisdom. We heard previously in the book of Proverbs, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And the word beginning of wisdom, Bereshit we said, or Reshit we said, source of wisdom we said. So, fear of the Lord is the source of wisdom. Now, book of Sirach, author of Sirach would say, fear of the Lord is the fullness of wisdom. So, there is no wisdom outside than in the fear of the Lord. If there is outside wisdom, it is not wisdom at all. Wisdom emerges or comes from, or you will experience the fullness of wisdom in abiding by the commandments of God or Torah. This is a complete, this is a little introduction about the book of Sirach. So far what we have studied, those three books, book of Proverbs, book of Job, book of Kohelet. These three are the Hebrew canon, original wisdom literature writings. And these are starting from book of Sirach, wisdom of Solomon. These two are deuterocanonical books for us, apocryphal books for Jews as well as Protestants. This is a little information concerning the book of Sirach. And we, the Christian canon, that also Roman Catholic canon, basing on LXS, that is Septuagint version of Bible or Greek version of the Bible. This is a part of the Bible. And therefore we have incorporated from the Septuagint Bible, Greek version of the Bible, because that was the Bible followed by all the Christians in the beginning. Later, when the churches were divided during 16th century, in the time of Martin Luther, he has gone back to Bible study, and there he has separated all this. He has he has rejected the Greek canon, that is Septuagint Bible, and he has fallen back to the Hebrew canon. So all the Old Testament Hebrew canon books he has taken, and later all the New Testament books what we have. So those things, that is the information. Now coming back to book of Sirach, introduction. By way of introducing, let us Book of Sirach is a collection of sayings and lengthier instructions written by a devout Jew who lived in the late 3rd or early 2nd century BC. The author identifies wisdom with the Torah of Moses. This is a speciality of book of Sirach. What is wisdom? Wisdom is nothing but Torah. Torah is the wisdom. Thus, he advises his students commitment to Torah. Out of commitment to Torah, one attains wisdom. In his book, or book of Sirach, contains not only affirmations concerning wisdom and Torah, or Torah identified as wisdom, he gives guidelines on wide array of practical, domestic, social and religious topics. Book of Sirach was widely used within the early church. Even Jesus ben Joseph knew the book of Jesus ben Sirach. With this little introduction, we speak who is the author, date and setting. For that, we shall read the beginning part, introductory part of Book of Sirach. It's also a lengthier book consisting of chapters 52. Okay. In prologue, some introduction is given concerning the book of Sirach. We shall read. Many great teachings have been given to us through the law and the prophets and the others. So you understand? The law. Law constitutes Pentateuch. Prophets. Earlier prophets and later prophets. Starting from Moses up to last prophet, we have all is prophetical literature. And others would mean wisdom literature. Book of Proverbs, Book of Sirach mainly depends or writes his book under the style of Book of Proverbs. That's an important issue we have to note. That followed them, and for these we should praise Israel for instruction and wisdom. Now those who read the scriptures must not only themselves understand them, but must also, as lovers of learning, be able through the spoken and written word to help the outsiders. So my grandfather Jesus, who had devoted himself especially to the reading of the law and the prophets and the other books of our ancestors, and had acquired considerable proficiency in them, was himself also led to write something pertaining to instruction and wisdom, so that by becoming familiar also with his book, those who love learning might make even greater progress in living according to the law. You are invited therefore to read it with goodwill and attention, and to be indulgent in cases where dispute our diligent labor is translating. We may see them to have rendered some phrases imperfectly. For what was originally expressed in Hebrew does not have exactly the same sense when translated into another language. Not only this book, but even the law itself, the prophecies and the rest of the books differ not a little when read in the original. When I came to Egypt in the 38th year of the reign of Euergetes and stayed for some time, I found opportunity for no little instruction. It seemed highly necessary that I should myself devote some diligence and labor to the instruction of this book. During that time, I have applied my skill day and night to complete and publish the book for those living abroad who wish to gain learning and are disposed to live according to the law. So this is the prologue to the book of Sirach. Now the grandson of Sirach, having a copy, Hebrew copy, just passing information, why some of the books are not included in Hebrew canon. One clear-cut reason is, especially Septuagint Bible, the whole book of Old Testament, with Judith, Esther, all these things, book of Sirach, all these things. Why this is not taken into Hebrew canon, that is Old Testament, Jewish canon? One reason is because some of this book, all this translation, LXS, that is Septuagint, is written in Greek. So they have, Palestinian Jews have incorporated into their Bible only those books which are written in Hebrew. So book of Sirach, then for Jews or Palestinian Jews, book of Sirach was available only in Greek. Original book. Now what we are seeing from the, introductory note of the grandson of Sirach, what he has done, he has translated the original book. His grandfather has written in Hebrew, the original text, and he has made a copy of it in Greek. Now, in translating, he says one thing, one important note he says, however diligently I have translated this one, I could not translate exactly the exact to the original meaning of my grandfather's Hebrew book, because a translation is always a translation. Mind you, brothers, a translation is always a translation. English Bible, what we have, is a translation. Therefore, we are far from the original meaning sometimes, some of the cases at least concerning basic meaning of a word concerned, we are far from the original meaning. That's why some of in a biblical classes, some of the professors will speak, this word is not this meaning. In English it is given. Previously we were saying about I despise myself concerning the book of Job, right? Job says I despise myself. But the original meaning of the book of that particular word, despise, would mean I lost interest. So somewhat closer to that, or the better way to understand it. But the very moment if you say I lost interest, you will lose interest to read book of Job. So that's why they have not put that word. So therefore you need an instruction into that original language. So therefore, book of Sirach, grandson of Sirach, who is translating his grandfather's work into Greek, he notes, I could not do the original literal translation because the Greek language is Greek language, Hebrew language is Hebrew language. Every language, some of the concepts, it is difficult to translate. Concepts and some of the meanings we cannot translate. So that's why he tells that difficulty. So, having just gone through little introduction about the prologue, we shall again fall back to who is the author of the book and all the details. Before we see author, date and setting, we shall see the original work outside Hellenistic setting. As I told you in the introduction, part of introduction, or as we have read, the original book of Ben Sirach is written in Hebrew. Now it is excavated in the one of the synagogues of Cairo Genisa, that is in Alexandria. Original book which is written in Hebrew form is found out, and also parts of the book of Sirach are excavated in the Qumran community, that is Masada, the region where Qumran caves. There were ascetic Jews during the Hellenistic period, withdrew from the society. I am giving a historical note concerning the Qumran society. So those ascetical Jews who thought people are simply leaving out, abandoning the religion, faith, and their commitment to Torah, they came out and started living as a community in the Qumran society, near the Qumran caves, so near Masada. Later we have heard that during 19th century there was a boy, Arabic boy, has gone into that caves, and one of his sheep missed into that caves, and he has taken because he is afraid, he is alone to go to caves. So therefore he took a stone and threw, and he heard a different sound. Therefore he came with someone and have gone inside, and in the Qumran caves, into that caves, there were jars, mud jars, and in the jars there are scrolls. What are these scrolls? The scrolls of the Old Testament. Okay. And now when they have seen, they have been preserved in the British Museum. There all these Old Testament original scrolls are available. Some of the scrolls also belonging to are also a book of Ben Sirach in Hebrew form. So which means that is a very original book. Therefore now they are thinking about whether they will add a book of Ben Sirach into the Hebrew canon. They are thinking about, okay, that's not our matter anyway, but we are added. Okay, our book adds book of Ben Sirach. So we are happy because wisdom that is preserved in the book of Ben Sirach is available to us now. And it's not now, from the beginning we are having it. And thanks be to God, and God's scripture is made available at least now, and hope Jews will understand this. Then concerning about original work outside the Hellenistic setting. Yeshua ben Eliezer ben Sirach names himself as the author of this collection. We will open the book Sirach chapter 50 verse 27. Chapter 50 verse 27. Chapter 50 verse 27. Instruction in understanding and knowledge. I have written in this book Jesus, son of Eliezer, son of Sirach of Jerusalem. Who is the author of this book? Jesus ben Eliezer ben Sirach. So that is the original book. When it is written in the former times. So that's what I wanted to make it clear. Before Hellenistic rule began in Syria and Palestine, the book Ben Sirach was written. And he himself was during the wisdom movement time, he was a teacher, and he was in Jerusalem, and he conceived himself as a sage, and he began a school and started teaching instruction, and he started composing new proverbs. He started composing new proverbs, and he also started selecting which he cannot interpret. The original proverbs he was collecting. He was composing Proverbs, he was also collecting the proverbs that were available to him. That details are presented in book of Sirach, chapter 13, verse 26. So according to him, when he was writing his book, he always thought as Torah as his model. Therefore, the wisdom that is presented in the book of Ben Sirach is coming from his deep meditations on book of Torah, the law of the Lord. He was a diligent scribe. Now concerning his personality, he was fully committed to the Torah of Moses, and he wants to teach. He wants to teach the instruction into Torah to the younger generations. Now why he wants to teach younger generation the instruction of Torah? That will come to the setting and background to the book. That question will raise there. Why he wants to teach, and what situation he is, and why he is made to teach, and all that. Okay, that we'll see. Then concerning the date of the book, now we know the author of the book. Who is the author of the book? Jesus ben Eliezer ben Sirach. Now we have another Ben Sirach. Jesus ben Sirach we are saying. I just wanted to make that one clear to you. Original book of Sirach is written by Jesus or Yeshua. Jesus, son of Eliezer. Now this original book is written in Hebrew, right? We said. And the same original book is given an introduction and copied and translated into Greek. Greek version of book of Ben Sirach is written by whom? Jesus ben Sirach. Now we understand this Jesus is of Ben Sirach. This Jesus is son of Eliezer. Son of Eliezer writes in original language Hebrew, and son of Sirach. This is also Jesus, this is also Jesus. Eliezer's son Jesus writes in Hebrew language, original text, and the same text is translated by Ben Sirach, Jesus. His name also is Jesus. Now what we have, the text what we have is this one, not this one. This is not available to us. But this is available to us. This is nothing but the same book translated, and some additions were added. Now you understand? Clear? Yeah. Now concerning when we see a text, now which text we will see? We have to see both the text. Now for time being we are saying the original text, who is the first author of the book. And here we are seeing Jesus ben Eliezer, and his date we are seeing when it is before outside the Hellenistic setting, and we are seeing the date for book of Jesus ben Sirach. What is its setting? What is its time? Hellenistic time. You understand the difference? Yeah, that much you must be clear. Concerning the date of the first book, probably 126 to 175 BC. Probable date 196 to 175 BC. Why we conclude that date? Because it has got a hymn in praise of the ancestors, eulogy to a priest called Simon the Second. Now Simon the Second lived in the year 219 to 196, and what he has done, he was high priest and he has reconsecrated the Jerusalem temple by conquering the then Antiochus Epiphanes, who has desecrated Jerusalem temple. For your understanding, some information, previously I was teaching for second year's synoptic gospels, so there I have given little detail introduction about, we say silent period, no? Silent period, starting from prophets. With the prophets, God is silent, they say. God is not silent anyway. Right. Up to Jesus, or we say John the Baptist. Okay, till then silent period we say. Okay, during this time the history we do not know. That is presented in our books as in the first Maccabees and second Maccabees. Some information is given, but we don't have all the details. So I have got in the form of, as a part of introduction, I have formulated. Brother Arjun, you can get from, it is in my laptop. I'll give you in pen drive for your personal study, for your personal information. So I thought of giving. Otherwise, so many things I have to connect with, because these are the books written during the intertestamental period. Intertestamental period is the silent period what we are talking. Yeah. 400 years. Yeah, that silent period, no. So during before after most of the prophetical literature is over with the exilic period. So prophets were admonishing, telling them, you fellows, if you don't listen to, and you from other kings will come and you will be slaves and all this, they were telling, and they were not listening. So up to exilic period we have prophets. Okay, with that prophetical literature is over. Then from exilic period to up to Jesus time, 400 years, like almost like, then they call it silent period, but still we have a lot of literature belongs to that silent period. Book of Maccabean revolt and all these things, information is given. And concerning that, especially during the Hellenistic period, after the death of Alexander the emperor, who aimed at, he wanted to have single culture across the world. That's why he went and confiscated many of the countries. He wanted single culture, single people, single language. So that was his agenda. Now, during the time, his time already, even his after his death, his kingdom is divided between two of his generals, we said. One is Ptolemy, another one is Seleucid, and both have occupied different parts, divided big kingdom. And so even they, what they were doing, they were teaching, they were forcefully converting all other cultures to Hellenistic culture, free culture. Hellenistic culture, you understand, a lot of philosophy, thinking, gymnasium and all these things. Okay, then Greek language, Greek culture, they were installing. Now this in Palestine, people are and they were also confiscating other religions. They were teaching their religion. So that was the time, and the Jews were there in this particular land, and their temple was desecrated. In the temple, their god Zeus statue is put, Greek god Zeus statue is put in the Jerusalem temple, and that time only Simon the priest, high priest, he collects the people and he goes and fights with Epiphanes the second, third, fourth, and so many people are there. He drives this Hellenistic army from Palestine, chases them away, and rededicates Jerusalem temple. And thereby, book of Sirach in the eulogy. Eulogy means praise for the great people. And he writes, who are the great people of their nation? Sirach writes, one among them is priest Simon II, who has rededicated, who has spent a lot of his time and energy, fought wars. He is a high priest, but he had to fight war in order to preserve their religion and their temple and their faith and all these things. Therefore, Ben Sirach writes greatly about this Simon, the high priest. Okay, that's about. Now, therefore, Ben Sirach, not Ben Sirach anyway, Sirach, Ben Eliezer writes eulogy concerning. Therefore, this book is prior to the Hellenistic time, that is from 200 and below and all that. Okay, that's all about. Now, the setting for the book of setting to the book of Sirach. What did we say? Structure, influence. Setting. Concerning the setting, we are going to see what is the background for the book of Sirach. As I have already told you, given little information concerning Israelites during the time of Hellenistic period, after their return. We said monarchic period, pre-exilic, that is monarchic period, exilic period, post-exilic period, which means they returned from exile, and during the returning from exile they were under Persian rule, we said. Okay, once these Greeks have come into power, they have confiscated all the Persian rules. So they started occupying all the Western world. Greeks started, and that's, we call it as Hellenistic period. Greek reign starting from Alexander the Great, we call it Hellenistic period. So during that time, what happened? As I told, an attack of mighty culture on a smaller culture, or macro culture is confiscating micro culture. Small kingdoms are there around Israel, Palestine, Judah and all the, there are small kingdoms. So this Greek army, great army, nation by nation they are attacking, controlling and transforming each country into as a Greek culture. That's why you see even parts of up to Egypt is all Greek language, Greek culture. Alexandria, where is it? In Egypt. Where is Greece? Greek culture, that is in western parts. Now up to such a distance they could confiscate all that lands. Now what is happening is, during that time there were, for your knowledge, during this time, during the exilic, post-exilic time, what happened? All some of the Jews fled to Egypt. And Prophet Jeremiah is one among who was forced to leave to Egypt, because that time Egypt was a mighty kingdom. Egypt was a mighty kingdom, along with Babylon, Persia and Assyria. So there were always wars between Egypt and Persia, Egypt and Babylon, Egypt and Assyria. There were fights, there were wars. Why? Because they wanted to confiscate these lands. So therefore, the small kingdoms like Edom, like Israel, Palestine and Philistines, all these small petty kingdoms in the ancient Near East, they were always seeking support from whichever is powerful. They were trying to seek support of that kingdoms. So when there was a Assyrian attack on Israel, the 10 tribes, some of them fled to Egypt. Likewise, when there was Babylon attack, some people fled to Egypt again. And when there was a Persian persecution in the land, some of them fled to Egypt. And the land where they started living is Elephantine. In the Egypt land, there is a land, a particular region is called Elephantine. There they were living. There, Jews were more than the local natives. Therefore, from this you understand, there and as well as some remained in the Palestine. Now in these both regions, Greek culture started. Now as Greek culture started, if you see book of Maccabees, 2nd Maccabees chapter 4, we will read few details there and you will understand it better. Before my explanation, we shall read. Book of Maccabees. Second Maccabees chapter 4 verse 7 and so on we will read. Four, 7 and the following. When Seleucus died and Antiochus Epiphanes, who was called Epiphanes, succeeded to the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, obtained the high priesthood by corruption. So what they were doing? When people returned, please listen brothers, when people returned from from Babylonian exile under the directions of Persia. Why Persia has to give directions? Because Babylon was defeated by Persia and Persian kings, Artaxerxes, Darius, all these things, they have given freedom for those who have been captured by the Babylonians to go to their native lands. So that's we call it returning or post-exilic period. And on their coming, what we are trying to say, these Persians, what they, after their return, there is no king in Israel. That time there were no kings. So what was the system going on? The people, those who returned from Babylonian exile, they were not a people of nation because they have no king. Rather, they were people of a temple. Temple-centered people. So temple became center, and therefore high priest is the main figure in the state. Previously there were kings. Now in place of kings, who has come? High priest. High priest has come into power. It is high priest who governs the nation there. Now what happens? Some of the people from this high priest class, what they were doing? They were paying secret money in order to bribe and get the high priest position. And Jason is one, or Jason, as we are reading there in 2nd Maccabees, is the one who paid lot of money to the Epiphanes, the Antiochus Epiphanes. He gave lot of money and bought that position. And therefore, you buy a position, what you do? You do lot of corruption, right? And you start ruling people according to your wish. So this what was happening. And not only that, because you are under Persian rule, whatever they say, you have to listen. Now Persian rule is over. Now it is Hellenistic rule. Greek rule has come. Now what the Greeks were doing, they were trying to impose their culture on this minority Hebrews. They are trying to attract. Now when a mighty culture, big group of people, the rulers, always what happens? The small group of people will be attracted to that mighty culture, right? So many people were attracted to the Hellenistic culture. Their way of dressing, their way of eating. Eating swine was one of the great troubles. In the Maccabean war, we see, Maccabean book, we see these Hellenists were forcing people of Israel to eat pork, right? Swine food, right? Which is abominable to them. And there only we have seen that a mother with 7 sons dies. Okay, there's a lot of details are given. And now there were some who have been attracted to this Hellenistic culture, abandoning the faith, abandoning God and their instruction to the Torah. They are leaving their religion and going after foreign cultures, Gentile culture. They have been attracted. Now imagine, in this context, Book of Sirach is written. It is an instruction for the young to remain faithful to the their native culture, native language, native religion. And they are a temple-centered people, we said, after their return. So what is the center? Law. Temple is center. They are elected people. They have time and again books will speak about. They are elected. They are covenantal people. They are temple-centered people. So these are the time and again number of books would speak about this. All these books that have come during the Hellenistic period, the simple sign. Which text is coming from which part? If there is a superimposition of their superiority of their culture, superior to the Torah in relation to other cultures, immediately you understand the particular part of text is coming from this Hellenistic period. You can simply blindly can say, because some of you will be doing some dissertations and all these things. For that you will be taking a particular text, especially you take book of Deutero-Isaiah or say Isaiah. Isaiah is a compilation of 3 texts. Proto-Isaiah, Deutero-Isaiah, Trito-Isaiah. You will see, you open your Bibles, have never seen? You see, you will see, it is a compilation. And why to go to that books? Even the books that we have completed, wisdom literature, right? It is a compilation. So when it was happening, most of the books we said it is Persian period or post-exilic period we said, right? That's the time these books were compiled. So okay, this is what is happening. So from this background, book of Sirach we have to understand. The book of Sirach, the author of Sirach is trying to instruct his young, those who are at the face of mighty culture. They are being attracted to this mighty culture, but they are telling, no, our culture is superior, our God is superior, our religion is strong. They may be appearing as worldly leaders and it's so appealing. Lot of wisdom is there, we feel. We think there is a lot of wisdom in the philosophies of Greek culture. No, there more than that superior wisdom is there in our books. So that's why book of Sirach is telling, confirm, you can live by Torah. Confirming your life to the Torah is the greatest wisdom. There is no wisdom outside, he tells. So this word you should keep in mind concerning when you read book of Sirach.